Hi everybody. I'm going to share another one of my testimonies. A lot of things have happened since I started walking with the Lord, and I want again to show people how God works in our lives and how we can tune into Him. I talked to Marlena and we talked about the demonic. The demonic is actually what brought her to the Lord. And then when I did my flood video, I talked about a prayer and what I had specifically asked in that prayer for God to use me. And then the situation with the flood came about. That was a way that He used me and He answered that prayer. So this is just a way of tuning into what He does. Another way that God uses us and talks to us is through our dreams. In our dreams, we are vulnerable, sometimes in a bad way and sometimes in a good way. But He can speak to us through our dreams. At this point, early in my walk with the Lord, I didn't know exactly how that worked, or I wasn't looking for it. Let me put it that way. So I start dreaming about someone from my past. And you know, we dream about things all the time. And before I knew the Lord, I may have completely blew that off and thought, you know, maybe I saw a picture of this person or something made me think of this person during the day, and then I dreamt about it at night. But this dream was different. I dreamt of this person. It was somebody that was from my past, somebody that I had dated, and that person and their father was in my dream. And they made it very clear to me that the dream wasn't about me. And it wasn't about anything that I would perceive about me. I don't know how. They just looked across. I was sitting at a table with these two men, and the man put his hand on my hand and said, "Pay attention." And I was like, okay, I'm going to pay attention. But all I was observing was their bond together. So I thought that was odd. But God prompted me to wake up and to write this down, this dream. I had never been obedient in that way before. I never woke up in the middle of the night and wrote down anything from what I've dreamt. But I felt this urge, like if I don't do it, like I'm going to be sick, like I needed to do it. So I woke up, I got a piece of paper, and I wrote it down, the situation. And then this was right around the time that, and I know this is going to sound funny, because I thought it was funny, but it was right around the time that Don Cornelius passed away. Remember Don Cornelius from Soul Train? So as I write this down, I get this thought in my head, and now at this time I wasn't sure if it was the Lord. This was all new to me. And the Lord said to me, Don Cornelius. And now I needed to write that down, Don Cornelius. And I thought, what does this have to do with Don Cornelius? This is why we need to listen and be obedient and not discard anything that we think. Because, you know, we think, oh, it's our own thoughts. But we need to listen. If we're getting that urge or that feeling that we need to write something down, no matter how silly it sounds, we need to do it. And I've learned that. I'm still learning that. So I write that down, and I get up in the morning, and I'm looking at this paper of this situation and Don Cornelius, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't get it, but I guess I'm not going to get it. I just wrote the date. So every morning I would go in the bathroom and get ready for work, and I would listen to the Bible on my phone, YouVersion, and it does audio. So while I get my makeup on, I listen to the Bible, and I never know where exactly I'm supposed to go. I just open it up to whatever God leads me to, and that's what I read. So I'm not familiar with the Bible at this point. I mean, I'm just starting to read the Bible, so I don't know, you know, verbatim chapters or verses or whatever. So I open up my phone, and I just push a button, and what comes up but a chapter, and the title of the chapter is about a man named Cornelius. When I saw that, I was like, I know that name. Why is that name familiar? I'm thinking, oh, Don Cornelius. I realized in that moment that it wasn't about Don Cornelius, it was Cornelius. And that was a confirmation to me that this was from God, this dream. So I continue to randomly dream about these two men, one being the Father, and most importantly, I was dreaming about the Father. Why, I don't know. I didn't barely know the man. I hadn't seen him in years and years. I couldn't imagine why I was dreaming about this man. So I was praying, Lord, why? Why am I dreaming about this man? And I had another dream about him, and there was medicine involved in the dream, a name of a medicine. God gave me that name of the medicine. He had me write it down, and I was like, wow, this is something. I was talking to my mom about it, and I'm saying,
but you didn't know it was medicine.
I didn't know it was medicine at the time.
Just a word.
I knew it was a word that I never heard. I looked up the word with my mom and found out that this was medicine. So I thought, well, maybe it's something medical. What does this all mean? So I went to work, and our pastor happened to come in that day, and I sit down and I say to him, you know, this is really weird. I'm dreaming about this man. I'm feeling sweaty, like there's something to this. And my pastor says to me, you have a message for him. And I said, but I don't know what the message is. What am I supposed to do? Call him? He said, well, yes. And I'm like, okay, and say what? And he said, well, God will tell you what to say. And I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to pray about it. And so that's what I did. I prayed about it. And God did reveal to me through my own thoughts. And I'm getting better now at deciphering what are my thoughts and what are his thoughts. And I'm like, okay, so I get a piece of paper, and God's telling me, I want you to tell this man how much I love him. I want you to tell him how proud I am of him. I want you to tell him how much he's grown and that he's striving and struggling, that he sees him struggling, but he wants him to know that he's waiting for him. He wants to redeem him. And I said, okay, so I wrote all this down. So I get up the nerve and I look up this man's phone number. He doesn't live here anymore. He lives in another town. I was nervous. I prayed, and I asked God, if this is really what you want me to do, I'm going for it. So I picked up the phone and I called him, and he answered the phone, and I said, you know, who I was, and he said, oh, I remember you. How are you doing? What can I do for you? Probably thinking, what the heck is this girl calling me for? And I said to him, I have a message for you. And he said, okay. And I said, the message is from God. And he didn't hang up. So that was a definite plus. I was nervous wreck, but I read off the piece of paper of what God told me to say. And I said that God wants you to know he sees you struggling. He wants you to know that he loves you and he's proud of you. And he wants to redeem you. And he said, what does that mean? And I said, well, he wants you to accept him. He's giving you a hand, and he's saying to you, he wants you to have everlasting life. And he said, okay, how do I do that? And I said, it's not about church, it's not about religion, it's not about anything else but just having this relationship with him. Go in a room, you know, shut the door, get down on your knees and say, I've received this message and I accept. I said to him, he wants you to know that he loves you so much that he would go to these extraordinary lengths for you to realize that it was him. And I don't know this man's life. Maybe this was the only way he was going to understand it. But he received that message very well. I was thrilled. I'm sure it doesn't always work like that. But that was the first time that God ever led me to do anything. He's led me to do a lot of things since. But that was a really awesome experience for me. It taught me that I need to pay attention to my dreams, even if they seem insignificant. You know, sometimes they are significant. So if I get that urging to write it down, I write it down. I hope this helps. I hope this shows you how God works. And all you have to do is just say, some people might say, but how do you get to this point? How are you where you're at? It was no magic potion. It was, Lord, I know that, I'm a sinner, and I need you, and I love you, and I'm willing. That's it. If you want to walk with the Lord, and you want Him to show you the way, and you want to work for Him, and you want to be involved in this type of thing, this is something that everybody can have. Just sincerely pray and ask the Lord, show me. He says in the Word that if you seek me, you shall find. If you knock, I will answer. He's going to reveal Himself to you when you're sincerely seeking Him. So that's all you have to do, and then watch how He works. And He does the rest of the work. We don't have to do the work. So that's the wonderful part. We just have to be willing. So I hope this touches you in some way. I hope it helps someone. And I will see you again next week. God bless you. When I talked to the man on the phone, I did talk to him about the dreams that I had been having about him, and that that this was the first time this ever happened to me. I explained to him that a part of my dream was something medical. He did share with me that he had some medical issues going on that were serious. He didn't go into detail with me, but that was just another confirmation of what God was showing me in my dream about the man. So again, that was another point of it. That's the one thing that God does, is He confirms things. He won't tell you something and leave you hanging. He'll give you a confirmation, and we can ask for confirmation. And that was the thing that I found with this man, is that the medical part was key. There was something serious going on in his life at this time that only God knew. I couldn't have known that. So I just wanted to tell you that part of it.